Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Open-Minded Mystics. This is our second week of rebranding, and we are so excited because this is our first week as Open-Minded Mystics with a special guest. We have so much going on tonight. I am so thrilled. My name is Donna, and of course, we're here with Tracy, Locke, professional life coach, Kim Mazzella, our mindset coach and light docent. What's up, ladies? How's your week going?
Ooh, it is going. It is a good week. It's crazy. It's been bananas. And I am so excited that we have our first guest on tonight. And I have been doing some research on him and he is awesome. So ladies and gentlemen out there, you are not going to want to miss this because this is like a whole new chapter of Open-Minded Mystics. And we just switched our name just in time because he is
okay.
Oh, she froze. I don't know what happened there, but let's just say this. That I'm open-minded enough to know that maybe she was going to say something that will displease the mystic in me. I'm just kidding.
Am I back yet?
You're back. And I heard that we're pretty silly gals. So I just said, please know that I'm the kind of person that giggles at a wake. And that if there's any odd giggling like children in a classroom, it's because we're excited, it's new, and it's nothing disrespectful. So to any guest that comes on and to anyone that's watching this evening, we just want to say that we are open-minded mystics. We know that we're leading a group of you out there who are open-minded, and we're really excited. So go for it, Tracy.
Oh, you didn't get any of my comment?
No, we didn't. Like Elsa.
Oh my God. Let it go. Let it go. Okay. So what I was saying, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen out there, is this is our first guest. I know Donna said this on Open-Minded Mystics, and we changed our name just in time because I've been doing research on our guest. He is amazing. And you're going to want to tune in for something totally new, totally mystical, and like a different side of Open-Minded Mystics. I'm just so happy and excited to have him on the show. So thank you, Donna. That's what I was trying to say. I was trying to convey my excitement and try to tell people out there that they really need to focus tonight because a lot of cool stuff's going to be going down.
That's what one of the things that I had said when we were talking about rebranding is that naming our show Open-Minded Mystics really opens us up to all of those out there who are looking to create a better world, and all of those who are looking to look beyond the veil or look beyond what we know or know as fact, to maybe stretching our mind a little bit to thinking that there is more than what we see with our eyes and more than what we feel. And so really a mystic is someone who is really willing to search and seek. And today I think that our guest is a perfect start for our new venture. I'm really excited.
I'm so excited. And today, of course, we're being joined by Ryan from the UK, our executive producer. That's my story time name for him. But he's been amazing helping us out with our guests. My Aunt Cecilia's here. She is so excited for the show tonight. And I will say that we would love some interaction, but because tonight there is a special guest on, please hold all your questions till the end because I know that he's so excited to answer all of our questions. And when you're done watching, you're going to want to go over to his page, Dark Winter Moon on YouTube, and you're going to watch his videos. I mean, he's got a wealth of information there. As always, we are sponsored by some really amazing people, and I'm going to get them out today at the top. Ladies, what do you think?
Go for it, Donna V.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a better way to do this because not only are we so excited because we have our Dirty Bone Soap Company still giving us a 10% off code, which is great. And we know from last week, we spoke about it. It's all caps Monday and then 10 off of your purchase. You can check out Dirty Bone Soap Company both on Instagram as well as on Etsy. And there are some amazing soaps that they have. Yeah. You can get custom made soaps. Go check them out after the show, of course. Don't leave us now. You're so sad. If you go to Open-Minded Mystics on Instagram, we're going to be posting the codes and stuff like that so you know exactly where to shop anyway. So stay right where you are. But we have another new supporter tonight that we're going to be talking about, Mystic Moon Pixie. Her name is Amanda Newton. She does on canvas and wood slices, paintings and such. And she has offered us a code. Are you ready for this, ladies?
I'm ready.
For 30% off for our viewers.
30%.
30% off. Type in Crystal, all capital CRYSTAL. I'll go through this again at the end and I'll put some, posts up. But really, honestly, I just could not wait. I cannot wait, I should say, to bring our guest on.
Bring him out. Bring him out. Bring them out. Bring them out. We need theme music for our guests.
I know that Ryan said the same thing. We need scary theme music.
Like dun, 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 dun,
I know, we'll figure it out.
You should come up with it, Tracy. You seem to make those tunes, right?
Yeah.
That's
from a movie, right?
Isn't that like from a cop film or something?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like Batman, or I don't know. It's something, but it's very dramatic. You know, we need. I have some good intro music. Kim's
All I
point.
can tell you is last week when we did this.
Yes,
it took like a minute to figure out to go this way.
Yes.
Can I tell you, Ryan was greeted the next morning by his mother, Joan, and Jeremy, her husband, and they said, "Here we go, Boswell."
Boswell? Oh my God!
How sweet is she? She's adorable.
That's adorable. We should call him Boswell instead of Bosley.
Instead of Bosley,
I kind of like that.
Boswell Angels. So Boswell that ends well with Boswell. All right. I mean, you got to be quick like that. Okay, are you guys ready?
I am so ready. I've got my notebook.
I wish I had a drum roll.
I've got my pen. You do. That's what I'm saying.
I know. Coming to us
got one right there.
Yeah, ready? Coming to us live all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. Please help me welcome from Dark Winter Moon, Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Woo!
How is it tonight?
Good. We are so excited. We were just singing your praises. I hope you could hear it.
I love it. I can hear it.
Oh, excited to have you on tonight.
Yeah.
So you can feel it through the vibes of the Zoom.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, perfect.
Definitely.
So I know that we did get to speak the other day, and I'm really excited. And I can't wait for you to introduce yourself to our audience. I know we spoke a little bit backstage, but tell us a little bit about yourself, Ryan. I know you told me that you grew up in Arkansas and you wound up in Boston. How did that even happen?
The short answer is I feel like Arkansas had given me everything that it could. It had taught me everything that it could. And I was ready for a new adventure. And so once I decided that I was going to move, everything just kind of magically fell into place. I had some friends that are like, "We're moving to Boston. Why don't you go with us?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll go to Boston." It was just like very like serendipitous.
You can't get any more different than Boston and Arkansas, right?
Oh my God!
Holy guacamole! That's some culture shock right there. I bet.
Absolutely. And Arkansas is very conservative, and I'm very not. And so I came here where it was a lot less conservative. So.
We love that. We love that. So
you love it there where you are now?
I do love it. I do love it. It's been tough with COVID because I'm very much a city boy, and like having transit and going into the city and meeting people and going to Salem. Haven't really done any of that in over a year. So, but
that's hard.
Yeah, definitely hard. But I'm almost fully vaccinated, so I'll soon be out and about.
Getting ready to go out and about. Love that. I love that. So, if ladies, who wants to start with the questions tonight? Kim,
okay, well, I'm not going to start with the questions. I just want Ryan to know kind of like a little bit of our roles and the people out there know it. So as you can see, Kim Mazzella is our mindset coach and light docent. She's the bigwig. She's the bigwig of the group. She's the expert life coach. Donna's going to be leading the interview tonight. And Ryan, my role usually is kind of like I'm the consigliere of the audience. So I try to take what I think the audience is thinking and ask you the questions. So a lot of my questions, Ryan, just so you know, I'm new to the spiritual game, but very excited about it. So there might be some like really rudimentary and basic questions that I ask you. So just know that right from the start that I'm trying to get it from the audience's perspective of like, okay, where do I start to get to understand this knowledge? And as you know, there's no stupid questions. And we just want to try to open it up so that everybody can have an understanding of, that's why we changed our name to Open-Minded Mystics. We really want people to not be afraid to ask questions and to kind of understand different sides of spirituality and not be scared away from it. Because that was my experience. I was a little bit like, okay, I grew up in an area outside of Philadelphia, and there's a town called New Hope. And it's like it's like one of the most haunted areas in the country. And there's a lot of Wiccan stores. And there's
been there.
Oh, you have? Okay, so you know, Ryan. It's fantastic. And it's got like this place called Gravity Hill where you park your car and it pulls you up the hill. And all kinds of crazy stuff. And I used to love going there when I was young and I was in high school. I'd go there with my friends and it'd always be drawn to like the Wiccan shops and the crystal shops and all the different, and I never knew why. So this is my exploration into it. And I'm so thrilled to have you help us reach people and kind of get the deal. Yeah. So Donna, take it away. But Ryan, I wanted you to know where we're coming from.
Thank you.
Well, Ryan, my first question is if you had to introduce yourself like you are right now to all of us, what would you exactly say to sum yourself up? Because I know if you look at your site, and I have looked, it says that you're a witch. And I find that fascinating and I love it. But if you were to explain it to someone who really might only know what they are in folklore or in books or in cartoon, like, can you explain to us what that actually means?
So I guess because we're on the subject of mystics, I'll start there. I consider myself a mystic because of what you were talking about with the seeking, the exploration, seeking out the answers for yourself. Witchcraft is very much about that. Nobody's path in witchcraft is like anyone else's, and that's one of the beauties of it, is that you get to kind of intuit and create your own path in your own way. So how I would describe myself is, let me see how many words I can get it down into, like get it as concise as possible. I would call myself an eclectic, polytheistic pagan witch.
Ooh. All right, now we have to break that down because I don't know. We're all looking at you like this, like, wait, what?
What? So I'll start with the first word. Eclectic is, what I mean by that is pulling my belief system and my practice from anything that resonates with me. So there's elements of Buddhism in my practice, especially in the meditation practice. There's a lot of intuition that goes into, or has gone into, building my practice. So in some ways, nothing is off the table in that way, as long as it has meaning to me. Polytheistic, I believe in multiple gods. I have a close relationship with several of them. I tend to focus on the Greek pantheon, or the Greek group of gods. So my primary deity is Apollo. And so pagan just means folks that don't ascribe to the traditional Abrahamic religions like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And it tends to mean the folks that were practicing their spirituality on the land before those religions were even a thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have a question in regards to that, Ryan. What's the difference between, and again, forgive me if it's like so basic, then I don't know it, between like a Wiccan and witchcraft and druids? So as far as I know, I'm just learning about that. This is so funny. You're going to die laughing. Do you watch Outlander at all?
I know of it. I've seen a few episodes, and I know about I have the first book, but I haven't read it yet.
Okay. I'm obsessed with it. And they touch on, it takes place in Scotland and England and Ireland. So the UK, where there's a lot of the culture about Wiccan and druids and fairies and all kinds of things, and how seriously that they take it, which I think is fantastic. And when they were describing the druids and they were talking about the ceremonies of the land, and then they started to get in a little bit of witchcraft, and they were like, these people just worship the earth, like Mother Earth. And I was like, what? This is so different than what I thought witchcraft was. Like I have, to Donna's point, my thought was like, oh, it's like spells and cauldrons. I mean, I know that's so ridiculous.
Well, there are spells. There's a lot of spells.
Right. But I mean, I never equated it to Mother Earth, because I have my personal belief is so close to nature. Like I feel like you get so much power from nature that it opened a whole new door to me. I was like, what? It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good point. This whole journey started for me probably when I was like 12 or 13. And I realized that I felt so much more connected to God when I was outside under the stars at night, or walking in the woods, or wherever it was, than I ever did in any church. And so I just sought out that that connection to the earth. And when I found witchcraft in college, I was like, oh, okay, this is what I have been doing all my life and didn't realize it. Yeah.
I love that.
That was a question I wanted. What made you, because there's so many different paths we can all go down. And sometimes I think they're all kind of like different films of the same experience, different perceptions of, you know, you might describe it as one thing and I might have the same experience, but describe it as something else, right? So maybe if you see it as gods, I might see it as angels. Someone else might see it as energy, right? And are any of them wrong if they work for you, right? But
right.
What was your first experience with witchcraft, and what made you drawn to it? What were you being told?
So kind of in the same way that I've always been drawn to nature and the inherent spirituality in that, I've always been drawn to witches and magic and wizards and spells and fantasy books, fantasy movies. All of those things were just super compelling to me. And my first experience with witchcraft was I met one of my oldest friends in college, and he had said that he was psychic, and that intrigued me. And so I struck up a conversation with him, and I was like, you know, I'm super interested in witchcraft. And he was like, well, why don't we just go get you a book? And so we went and got it. And I read the book. That's when I realized, oh, wow, this is exactly what I've been missing. And so, yeah, it just started that simply with, and there's a lot of reading in witchcraft too. There's a lot of self-education. So,
right.
I mean, to me, it's obvious why you moved to Boston. I mean, the fact that you're drawn there is just like a natural progression to go in that direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's wildly accepted there. It's just anyone that I've ever spoken to that's interested in that, it seems to be in Massachusetts.
Yeah, definitely. Arkansas is a whole different story. I don't know how many times I was asked if I worship Satan, and I was like, no, like completely different religion. Like,
yeah. Why do you think?
That's an
I guess that's like the media's perception that when you say witch or Wiccan, everyone automatically assumes evil for I don't know what reason. For that reason. So, what was your? I would guess the question I would have is, what's the one thing that blew you away when you first started? Like researching it. Like I said, I was blown away by the fact that it had so much to do with nature, which I had no idea about.
I guess that, you know, I grew up with a lot of those same stereotypes in my head about, oh, this is evil, it's somehow satanic, all of that. And so when I approached witchcraft, I did it knowing in my heart that it was the right path for me, but also having those mental mental programming about it being evil and negative. But when I started reading about it, it was like, oh wait, no, this is not evil or negative at all. Like,
right.
So that was the big surprise for me.
Wow. Yeah, and I think that's so important for our audience to understand that so much of witchcraft and Wiccan and all that has to do with healing and herbalism and again, the earth. And it's just such a misnomer what we all think about it. And I just would love to dispel that because I was one of those people that thought that completely, absolutely thought that.
Yeah.
What do you say to people that ask you that question? I'm sure you might get asked that. Like, how would you explain that in layman's terms?
You mean, how would I explain that it's not evil?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just like reaffirming, you know, that's a misconception. If you would love to have a conversation with me about it, I would love to help you understand what it really is. And I would focus on like the witchcraft is very much about self-development and self-growth. And I would focus on those aspects of it and tell them, you know, it's in many ways it has helped me grow so much. It's made me the person I am today. It's saved my life. Yeah, I would not be where I am today without that deep spiritual growth that has come from witchcraft, and also just the continued challenge to better myself and to grow.
So basically, Ryan, you started with start reading just to get a great background. And then how did it progress? Like, did you find other people How does that even work?
Yeah. So I think the first book I read was called Principles of Wicca by Vivian Crowley. And it said, it gave some basic rituals in it, some basic steps you could go through. But one thing it said was, you'll start doing these, testing them out to see what kind of results you get or to see how it feels. And then one day you'll turn around and you'll be like, oh, I'm actually practicing witchcraft. I'm actually a witch. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was like, whoa.
You're kidding. Do you remember what the first thing you did was where you were like, oh my God, I just made that happen?
It was more the practice itself. So like, let's see, how can I boil this down into because there's a lot of, I'm very ritualistic.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. So many things have happened. What's a good example? So my mind's going blank.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask
Kim has a question.
That one, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, let's put a pin in that one. I think Kim has a question.
Yeah, go for it.
I think do you hear me? Do you hear me okay? Okay, so I guess my biggest question is, like, if you say, okay, when you think of being a witch and what that really means to you, like, what does that look like in your day? Like, are there certain things that are part of that activity? Like for me as a life coach, to say I'm a mindset coach, there's certain things that really are very important to me. Like I have to meditate in the morning because I kind of believe that in order to be what I teach, I got to do what I teach. So I do certain things throughout the day. So I do affirmations and I use certain tools. What are the tools that are really important for you as a witch that are part of your daily activity? That I think that sums that up better than even saying I'm a witch. Like that, right. To me, that means I do this and I do this, and this is part of my experience, and this is really important to me. And like for me, if you hang out with me and you start to complain, I might not allow you to, or I might step out of your space with you. So what would your day look like? Does that make sense?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I have a pretty regular practice. I meditate every day with Apollo, and in front of his altar, I spend about 15 minutes at least a day doing that. I'll generally go for a daily walk as well, so I can kind of think and process. So even just that, it's almost like a meditative walk in a sense. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of meditation.
Mine too. We're very similar.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I'm in bed at night, to kind of put myself into a sleep state or to prepare myself, I'll meditate then as well, as kind of the end of my day. And then in so many ways, it's just completely woven into my life and on every level. Let's see, when I was traveling into the city a lot, or into downtown Boston a lot, I would make it a practice to hone my intuition about, should I take this train, or should I go right, or should I go left? And so a lot of times my practice is an ongoing challenge to my own intuition to develop it.
That's cool.
I use tarot cards a lot. I do a daily, at least one card pool. Usually that's part of it. And then beyond that, witchcraft traditionally works around the natural cycles. So there's 8 major days in a year. And so those are called Sabbats. I will almost always do those on a regular basis. And there's also I have one magical working partner right now, and we usually do every full moon and every dark moon. So that's kind of our monthly practice.
That's so great. I know one of the things that made us interested in speaking to you, I mean, besides a whole host of others, was we talk a lot about manifesting. And one of the things that we touched upon with the manifesting were sigils. Now, when I, just so that everyone knows, I am very lucky that I got to actually speak a little bit to Ryan beforehand, and just to kind of interview him a little bit and just say, hey, listen, this is what we do. This is what you do. What do you think were some overlaps? And one of the things I know that you spoke about was you felt this was very serendipitous because of how we talk about manifesting and you talk about sigils. And the only thing I knew about sigils was something I was told about that had something to do with a tattoo. And I'm like, wait a minute, are we going to all have to tattoo ourselves? And you said, no. You said, I have some really cool things I do on Etsy, including art. You create sigils. And I really would love for you to talk to us about that, explaining what a sigil is. And then we can actually look at some of the pieces that you have, because I can just share a bit of the screen with everything.
Yeah, that sounds great. So I want to pick up where you said manifestation.
Yeah.
I believe that manifestation is magic and magic is manifestation. In witchcraft, we talk about what is your intent. So you start with your intent, and then you build a spell or whatever it is around that. Maybe it's a prayer, maybe it's a sigil, in order to manifest that intent. So as far as sigils go, this is a sigil for money that I created. And so this has the intent of bringing money into your life. It's a manifestation. And the way that I created this is you basically take the words, or you take the words or word that matches your intent. So in this case, money. You take out all of the vowels and repeating letters, and then you take what is left over and you work it into a symbol that resonates with that intention. And so if you look closely, you can see the M here, backwards camera.
Oh, that's cool. I see it now.
Yep. Yeah. And there's an N in there as well. And then the S, of course, is the symbol for money, like the dollar symbol. So I just threw that in because it felt right. So yeah, so that's a basic. So when I am creating this, when I'm drawing it out, trying to figure out the final symbol, I'm constantly thinking about that intent of manifesting money.
Okay, Kim's got a question. Hold on.
Okay, first place, I'm blown away by this because years and years and years ago, there was Orin and Deben. Do you ever hear them? It's another channeled book, and they wrote a book like 30 years ago called Manifesting Money, and they talked about symbols. And I do their meditation all the time about putting symbols into your chakras. So can other people use your sigil, or does a person have to create their own sigil? Like, so does your sigil work for other people, or do you have to create your own for yourself?
So yes. So I actually have these on my Etsy shop. And I believe that the more that it's reproduced, the more power it has. Okay. So I have this in also in a sticker version that people can purchase, or even a digital download. And I'm also not too concerned if someone just copies it from me, because again, it's just going to resonate and increase that intent for everyone. So everyone that has the sigil. So yes, I charge this with that intent. And so whoever possesses it is going to get the benefits of it. And I also love to teach people how to do their own. I mean, I think your own magic is always going to be more powerful for you.
Yeah.
And so anyone, I've done several videos actually on sigils, and field a lot of questions about them and try to help people work through creating their own.
That's super cool. Wow.
I love it. Yeah. Once you're done with the sigil, what do you do with it?
Yeah, that was my question.
Okay.
You put it on your vision board? What do you do? Yeah. That was my question.
Yes. So the traditional thing is to burn it and to release it.
Oh, all right.
So the traditional way is to like keep focusing on it and focusing on it and focusing on it. Every time you think about it or see it, focus on that intent. And then when it just feels like it's done, you burn it.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yes. So you can do that, but it's also a beautiful piece of art. So, you can leave it up as kind of your mantra, or you can put it on your vision board, or really whatever you want to do with it, you know.
Yeah.
That
I can
is
actually
so cool.
show you guys. Let's see.
I love that. I love the design, Ryan. That is so
I
cool. I was
do.
like, oh my God, that is really cool
This is
design.
some more of his work.
Oh,
thank
fantastic.
you. Yeah, so
Oh,
that's
cool.
So cool.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yep. They're really cool. They're great designs.
And they have front and back.
Mhm.
And listen, I feel like I could, it's like home job, I could sell it for you. And then
You're like, Ryan, you didn't know you're going to be on QVC tonight.
I'm so blown away because I love the fact that you're just so open about it, and that you can go onto YouTube and you actually can watch, you know, a whole video about it. And even on your Etsy shop, you can see you have videos up of you creating them. And I think it's fascinating because the same way that you had your aha moment when he told you about, like, you take out the reoccurring letters and the vowels. Right. And I was like watching, I'm like, oh my God. I was
like, I see it. Yeah.
And the papers and the time that you take to create them with the different looks on the front and the back and the embossed papers. I mean, it's beautiful.
Okay, yeah, I have to ask you this, Ryan, because I'm dying to ask you this, which we could go back to, but I watched your video. The one that really caught my eye, I actually watched it 3 times because I loved it so much, was when you're talking about building your altar to Aphrodite. And I love, first of all, I love your personality. Your personality really shines through on the videos. You guys have to watch them. And I love that you were talking about her as herself. Because I have Irish descent, and my grandmother always used to refer to people as himself and herself, like when she would talk about people. Sure. Also, I love, Ryan, that you gave, obviously they have personalities, but you're talking about Aphrodite, which, we've all learned through like Greek mythology and all this stuff, and the goddess of love and beauty. But I love that you're talking about like having a relationship with her, and that she's kind of snarky and gives you what for. And I was like, I love that. And so my question was, after I watched the videos, in what form does she come to you? Like, you can like hear her, you get a vibe. Like, how does it actually happen for you?
Good question.
More of a vibe. It's like words in my head. It's not like I'm hearing them, but it's a very clear feeling of what she's saying. I guess it's telepathic, you would say.
Yes.
Yeah, and just it's emotion and it's thought. It's just that vibe. Like, you can almost hear her going.
Exactly. And I love it when you were like, she told me to swallow the stone, and I was like, what?
She was mad about those chocolates, I tell you.
Yeah, that is so amazing.
Bless her wisdom.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'll let you have those chocolates yourself.
I won't touch them, I promise.
Yeah, exactly. That's so do you feel yourself like forming, and I don't know how it goes, like kind of a relationship with them, meaning you kind of get to know them and they kind of get to know you and guide you through, kind of like Kim was talking about with angels.
I was just going to say, Kim talks about it all the time, that she has guides, spiritual guides, and your guides have been around forever.
Yeah.
Does it sound similar to what Ryan's talking about?
Right. Yeah, no. So once I was listening to a tape on Abraham Hicks, and she said, you might think of angels having wings, right? And that's back in the day, that's how we saw them. And we might have called them gods hundreds of years, but maybe it's the same energy, because sometimes when I'll talk about angels, I'll talk about, Michael stand on my right and Gabriel on my left. It's a very old prayer, right? And when I do that, I might think of the energy of protection flanking me and the energy of transformation in front of me. But I think it is whatever the way the energy comes to you, and however it works best for you. I think it's perfect. It's just like the film of your perception. I think that, but for me, my guides I have one that I think is very kind of snarky, that I've talked about it. And when I was little, her name was Rhonda, and it was because I used to always say, "Help me, Rhonda." And it really, it's just, and so I kind of get that being able to kind of feel the personality of the energy, even if you can't see it or it's not a person in the room. But I do have another question. So your intuition, do you feel like you started out with intuition, or do you feel like the meditation and the connection to witchcraft has increased your intuition?
Yes, I'll answer yes to both those, because I feel like everyone has innate abilities in the mystical realms.
Right.
I feel like mine was turned up a little more than other folks. Like, I've always been incredibly sensitive. But also growing up in Arkansas and being kind of a weirdo and also being gay, like, made me like shut a lot of that down.
Yeah.
To protect myself.
Sure.
But witchcraft, yes, has continued to open up that intuition, and I use the phrase endless wonder, because I just am always surprised at the synchronicities and the magic and the things I pick up on that I might not have before. Yeah, definitely.
I love that.
I have another question.
Anything that anyone's ever asked you to do that you will not do? Like, if someone said, I want to make a spell for, because I know I've read about that you can create spells, teach people. I'm fascinated by that, because to me, again, it just seems like another extension of manifesting. And, like, one of the things that I'm thinking of when you said burning is, I have this beautiful incense, and you're supposed to write your manifestations on it, and then you burn it. So that is like, there's so many cross connections and what you're talking about to what I've always believed, in the same kind of thing. Like, when we started this journey with the show, it was just purely Tracy and I talk about this all the time in like layman's terms. And then I would speak to Kim about it in more of a, oh, she's a life coach. But no matter what, it's always been there, but it's learning to develop it. So it's more than a one question, because that's me. I'm sorry about that. But is there anything you wouldn't ever teach anyone or help anyone with? And I'm just so fascinated in the fact that you, like Kim being a life coach, you being a witch, you can help people develop this, that if they already have it or if they just have a little bit of it.
Absolutely. That's a really great question. So I tend to steer clear of anything that would take away anyone's free will. So that's kind of the broad answer. I get a lot of questions about people. Oh, can you make this person fall in love with me? There's a lot of, and I'm like, yes, we could do a spell for that, but all magic has its consequences. So are you willing to pay that price of that meaning they're obsessed with you or it not going the way you want? I try to focus on, what can I change? What can you change about yourself to help you to be okay with not being with that person? Like turn around. I just don't really believe in anything that is that's going to force an outcome.
Like manipulative.
That's manipulative or compulsory. Yeah.
Exciting. Go ahead, Jim.
So what does a spell look like? Is it something that you learn how? Okay, so for me, I do dialoguing, and I wonder if it's sort of similar to I'll do scripting. What a script is I'll put out to the universe in thanks what I want, right? So as if I have it. So if I want a new job, I'll be like, thank you so much for my new job. I'm so grateful for the people I work with, blah blah blah. I'm so grateful for the money I make. How do you learn how to create a spell, and what does it look like?
So for me, it looks like, take what you said in the basis of that. And so let's say that I want a new job. I would probably find a green candle for money, and find maybe mint oil to anoint that candle with, because it's green and mint is associated with money and abundance. And pull together all of these items that correspond with that intent. And then I would probably write out what is called an incantation, which is basically like a poem that asks the universe and asks the gods to help you achieve that goal. And so you would light the candle and you might call on Hermes bless his wisdom, because he's the god of money, to help you as you're lighting that candle. And you would read your incantation, and you would feel in your heart that you wanted and believed that money and that job was coming to you. And then I could incorporate the sigil into that as well and put it on the altar. And then when the candle burns down, burn the sigil. That's a really good way to kind of.
I love that. When you say altar, wait, I just have to ask, when you say altar, how many can you have in a home? Is it above a fireplace? Is it like, would you consider this, which I have my crystals, I have, my towers, and would that be an altar? Like, what do you mean by that?
So it goes back to the intent. So if you set aside this space and you're like, I'm reserving this space for Aphrodite, and that's your intent. So you consciously go, okay, this is going to be Aphrodite's little corner or little table. And so I'm going to, kind of like I was talking about with the spell, things that correspond with Aphrodite or things that to me correspond with her, I'm going to put on that altar. And Tracy saw the video, so she can probably understand a little more. But like I was talking about in the video where, I associate roses with Aphrodite. So I usually keep a bouquet of roses on there and have rose oil on there and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's very intuitive for me creating an altar. And so sometimes I may start with like a candle, an altar cloth, and another object like a seashell for Aphrodite.
Yes.
And then over the years, I'll just like, oh, wait. Or she'll say, hey, get that for me, and I'll grab it.
That's so cool. It's so funny? I literally brought in today to clear my space, my rose water. I have my roses up there, and here you are. You're talking about that, and I just have to tell you, I love that right there.
I love that. That's great.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Right there.
That is
what I am loving about this so much is when I first heard of a witch, right, or witchcraft, I'm like, okay. And now I'm like, oh my God, I got to learn more about this because it's so similar to what I do. It really is. I mean, except you have really cool props.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
the props help to align the mindset, and
Yeah,
it's fun.
I love it.
They're fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question for Ryan from an audience member. Joanne would like to know, can a spell like that be broken?
A spell, I guess, like the love spell.
I think we're going back to the love spell. I think she's wondering if maybe she had someone put one on her. I don't know.
No, absolutely it can. It can be difficult, and you also have to deal with the part of you that might want that too. So if there's a part of you that wants the spell to be on you, and you're maybe subconsciously or maybe you're only subconsciously aware of it, you've got to do the work to uncover that. And that could be part of it. So see how this can get really tangled up, especially when you're dealing with.
See, I know a person that burned a candle for love, and now she is paying the consequences for sure.
Yeah, that's bit me in the butt too.
What if you just put in your spell this or something better, right? Can't you just like kind of overcome the consequence? Like, I want this or something even better. Like, I don't know. Like, is there a way to make a spell better?
Yeah, I usually, let's say, how do I put it? For my highest good, may this come to pass, or may it harm none is another thing we say. Something again that I will go back to is that one of the things about doing magic is it does have consequences, and like if there's that tiny part of you that still wants the spell to go through, and maybe you're doing that love spell and you are saying the words that you want it to be for everyone's highest good and best benefit, but in your heart you actually want that one person to love you. If you're not clear on what your heart feels in that situation, then you could still inadvertently derail the spell into the territory of like getting all tangled up. And
that's exactly what we talk about with manifesting. If you have an intention that you want something, but you're not really clear with it, because the universe doesn't hear no. And I want to just put this comment up. If we all paid attention, we'd be surprised that we are more alike than different. I think it's definitely one of the main things that we're all getting from the show.
Yeah, this is so one of the things that I do. So I have a course that I teach, and in the first 4 weeks of my course, we just look at your beliefs and we kind of examine. You come to me because you want something, right? You want to change something in your life, but we examine how you got here and what you believe and what you might not be able to overcome. And then we look at the next 4 weeks are all about like modulating beliefs and working on your beliefs and trying to, and then the last 4 weeks are manifesting. I spent 8 weeks working with you just to see if you can really manifest what you think you came to manifest, because sometimes when you really explore yourself, you recognize, oh, I think I wanted that thing, but what I really wanted was freedom. And I thought that thing would give me freedom. And I thought that it was them, but really what I want is freedom. Let me manifest freedom instead. Does that make sense?
That's absolutely so spot on. Yeah. And generally when I start with someone, they're like, would you do me a love spell? I try to get them to let me give them a tarot reading first. Because I want them and me to understand where they're actually at, not where they think they're at or where they're telling me they're at.
Exactly. That makes sense.
Everyone sprays prosperity spray over family photos to bring them abundance.
Okay, that leads right into my question. That is so funny. So Ryan, one thing I always ask on this show is, okay, I am the layman. I'm the person like on the street, man on the street. What are some tangible things that we could be doing? So for instance, just like Dawn just said, you could spray a certain thing, or if you feel like you're going into a situation where you're worried about it, is there like a certain protective oil that you could wear, or a talisman that you could carry, or a stone, or are there practical things that are pretty easy to start with that you would suggest?
More sigils.
Yeah, sigils, right? Definitely.
Where is it? Do I have it? I don't have it. Hang on, I actually do.
And look at this. I mean, how amazing is this?
All right, so
we have to have you back on again. We're getting people are rave reviewing.
I got to tell you, I want to buy all the sigils.
I know.
You're gonna be sold out, Ryan.
That, if you can see it, is a sigil of protection.
Okay.
And this is one of my spells in a bottle.
Wow.
So this is black salt.
I read about that.
Yes, this is very serious, powerful. Like you only want to use it in you want to try to only use it defensively.
Okay.
And not offensively. Wait, am I getting that backwards? No,
that makes sense. Defense.
More than defensively.
Right.
Because it's charged with it's kind of like it's for if you feel threatened, you would sprinkle it on someone's feet or in their shoes, and they would leave. But they might leave because their house caught on fire. So, you want to be clear about, but for protective purposes, you could put some of that in a bottle and hang it around your neck, and carry it with you. Or even easier than that, just draw out your own protection sigil and put that in your wallet or your purse.
Look at Kim, she's so excited.
I'm like writing them all down. I love tools.
Exactly. That's what
lady. I have another question. So I have a client right now that's moving into a new house. Is there a certain thing that she could do to clear? Like I would say sage every room, right? But what would you say? Same thing?
Just say sage every room.
Okay.
Sage or incense every room. I will I mean, I have my own practice where I cleanse the hell out of it. I just for a new space, especially if it feels weird. But yeah, sage is one of the best things for that. Or any incense that you really feel strongly connected to would work as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah, he's gonna have to come back on, guys. I have
so
many questions.
And I want to ask.
This is great.
I want to ask a question that has nothing to do with this. I'm dying to ask you because you are in Massachusetts and you are a witch. When you went to Salem for the first time, were you like, "Oh my God"? Could you just feel like crazy energy there?
Yeah, it definitely has its own special aura, especially like each individual shop that you can tell the really serious witch shops and the ones that are just kind of fluff. Most of them in Salem are actually really serious.
Right.
The graveyard, I didn't want to go in the graveyard. My best friend, she went in because that's her shtick. But yeah, and then I think we saw the Witchcraft Museum too, and that was a little creepy. Some of the rooms in there,
creepy, right?
The vibes, yeah. So
my daughter Courtney is I've always said she's very intuitive, and I was telling you earlier today that I stopped there on a cruise because it was just a stop. I was going up the East Coast, and she was kicking and screaming as she did not want to go in, and I feel that it's because she felt something. It wasn't that she was afraid, because it's kind of like hokey, like it's scary, but if you at all feel anything about being intuitive, if you feel like we've had the same dreams, her and I, we are very connected, both Aquarius, and we've just had some really cool experiences. She did not want to go in, and the other parents of the kids were like, "Oh God," I'm like, "That's not what it is with this kid." Like,
it's funny you say that. I think that's absolutely true. It was not until years after I became a witch that I realized, oh, every time I walk into like an antique shop, I get dizzy. I had this moment of just like,
all that energy from the stuff,
all that
right?
energy, exactly. And I was like, oh wow, this is a thing. So yeah.
I love that.
That's so interesting, because I was in a antique store. I love antiques, like my whole house. I have antiques everywhere. But I'm very aware of that when you are taking a possession of something new, it has the energy of whoever owned it prior. And I'll pick things up that I'm interested in, and I'll actually get like this is like a subconscious. I'm just realizing it now, because there was a thing I was looking for, and I've been searching for it in antique stores, and I'm like, I've got to get this. And I saw it, and I picked it up, and I was like, I don't want this one. It's not. Yeah. And I was like, I have been searching, literally been searching for like a year for this thing, and it's not easy to find. And then when I found it, I was like, for some reason, I don't want this. So I am very aware, not to mention I watched The Conjuring. And after I watched that, I was like, I really need to watch what I pick up.
Absolutely. It's so true. Like, I have learned to trust my immediate instinct. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know why, but nope.
Yeah.
I love that. I know we've got tingles up the spine over here. I mean, and yes, Salem is sacred ground. Took mom and 2 daughters for a weekend. It's a huge part of American history. It is amazing there. I'd love to go and spend some more time. I love old stuff. I actually prefer having, but I have a lot of stuff. One thing I'm noticing is that a unicorn in the back? What is that in the back up there?
Yeah, that's a unicorn. I see it.
Yeah, that is a unicorn. His name is Mambo.
I love that.
I love it.
I collected unicorns my whole childhood.
That is
and I believe I manifested, because when my daughters went to college, they joined what is it called? Sorority. And that was their mascot, was this. I'm like,
sparkling unicorn.
I'm like, I totally manifested that.
I have one question. I know that we're getting to the end, but why did you choose dark? Why are you called Dark Winter Moon? What does that mean to you?
Question.
That is a great question. So I was trying to figure out a name. This was back when I was in Arkansas, and I was just kind of starting out, testing the waters and doing tarot readings for people and that sort of thing. And I was trying to figure out a name for my business, and everything I came up with sounded really hokey to me, or had already been done. And so I was just taking a walk at night, and I looked up, and the moon was very close to the horizon, and it was turned up where, almost like it was the horns like this, but it was really shallow, like crescent moon.
Yes.
I was like, that's the Dark Winter Moon. And I was like, Dark Winter Moon.
That's amazing.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love the name.
I love it. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I do. Anyone else have a last minute question? We have a couple of minutes left, and we're going to pick a card with Dark Winter Moon.
Oh my God.
Exciting.
That's going to be fit. Okay, then I have this is a wide question. It might be too big of a question to ask with this little bit of time left, but what's the biggest misconception about tarot cards? Because again, everyone's like, that I know is like, ooh, tarot cards, scary, evil.
Biggest misconception is that they can predict your future accurately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Now they do a better. They do a better job of telling you what's going on right now and what will maybe happen if you don't change anything.
Oh, okay.
Because I believe the future isn't set; it's fluid. So there's a number of possibilities.
I feel the same way. We're like best friends.
Kim's like, amen. Right.
Predict your future more than predict your future.
So yeah,
You
it's
create
more
your
about,
future.
like, what's going on.
Yeah.
Shows you the things you've hidden from yourself or that are being hidden from you. You know.
That's true.
I think that's pretty cool. I did read that you started reading tarot when you were young, and you mentioned about how you're supposed to be gifted your first set of cards, and you purchased your first set of cards. And I loved what you wrote. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So I think that a lot of times we get caught up in what the book says, and we don't trust ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, if it's a matter between like the book says this is the tradition, but it just doesn't feel right to me, then I'm going to go get my cards, and that's what I did. Like, I was like, okay, it's time. I was thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And then it just hit me. Time to go get my cards. So I went and got them.
I love that. We have another question. What do you think of Ouija boards? I hate them. I've had really bad experiences with them. There's something about them that they're an open doorway that's very hard to close. I don't quite understand why, but like if I'm going to deal with spirit, I'm going to do it in a container that I've created, and not through a Ouija board because I don't know. There's just something about them. They create a doorway that you may not be able to shut off. And when I commune with spirits, I always have an out that I can control. Yeah. I love that. Like, Kim, I'm so excited that you're so excited.
I just feel like we're best friends now.
That is awesome. Brian, this is so great.
I guess I have.
That is so cool.
I started this night like, okay, witch. And now I'm like, I guess I am one.
You're like, hey, witch. Exactly. Next time
I'm a witch, Ryan. I'm a witch wannabe, apparently. I'm a witch.
There's a little bit of witch in everyone. And yeah, all it takes is deciding that you want to pursue it. So
I think it's great. I mean, I think you are amazing.
Yes.
And I know we're going to want to have you back.
Absolutely.
Amazing. I've had a great time.
Yeah. And thank you for making it so easy and accessible and just answering it truthfully and honestly. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, another question.
Do you have a favorite crystal?
I do. Amethyst.
I love amethyst.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And why? Wait, why amethyst?
I love purple. That's pretty, but amethyst, I love quartz. I love any type of quartz. Quartz has always been my stone. Amethyst has just such a nice calming feeling to it to me. And it's also good for enhancing your psychic awareness. It matches the third eye pretty well. And it's really good as a focus for opening up the mind. And I just like the energy of it.
I love that.
That's really great.
I love that. I just actually recently got a fluorite that has some purple into it.
Oh, very pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
That is, that's beautiful.
And I brought it up.
It comes in so many colors too.
I love it. Okay, so the deck that I'm using is basically it's just a healing angel oracle card, and it's just tradition for us at the end of the show. I shuffle, and you tell me when to stop, and we pull the top and the bottom card. Very simple. And anyone that identifies tonight with Ryan that wants to share his cards, go for it, or Kim or Tracy or myself. And I think because you're the guest, we're going to ask you to start.
Stop.
Whoa. Okay. Nature.
Oh, of course. Look at that.
Nice.
You got nature. That's great.
And the bottom card is
Balance.
Oh,
Balance.
very nice.
Nature
Nature
and
and balance.
balance.
You get balanced out in nature. That's amazing.
That is perfect.
That's perfect. Okay. Who's going next, ladies?
I'll go next. I'll
Okay,
go
Tracy,
next.
so
Here
whoever
we go. Give me a
identifies
good one.
Tracy-
Come on. Here we go, Donna. Make it happen. And now.
Okay. New love.
New love.
Oh, retreat. Yeah, you totally need a little retreat.
With your new love.
That's right. Perfect.
A little afternoon delight or something.
Woo-hoo. I'm ready.
You're Mazzella.
It's my turn. Stop.
I knew it. I felt it. I was like, all right. Dreams.
Okay. I have a lot of them.
You need a little sleep. Oh, your guardian angel.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm good. I'm down with that.
Nice one. Maybe you'll dream tonight about that.
Yeah.
My aunt says she keeps hearing 7. Okay, you know what? I'll pull 7 for you after I do my cards. I'm putting up boundaries and getting better at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like not.
Okay. Oh, divine guidance.
Divine guidance.
Love that. Oh, is that my North Star? It's a heart though. And romance. Ooh.
Oh, life is good.
You know, when you got it like that, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 7th card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is for everyone else that didn't identify with anyone else's cards, and that's an issue because there were like so many tonight. Healing.
Healing.
Oh,
I
that's a
think
good
this
one.
show was completely healing. I think this was amazing. I know for myself, Ryan, I just want to say thank you because it was a pleasure to finally get to talk to you at great length. Ladies, go for it. Say your
Ryan, oh my God, you're amazing. We fell in love with you, as you
Thank
know.
you.
Of course we did. But one last thing, I just want to promote you one more time. If they want to find you, if anyone who fell in love with you like we did, Dark Winter Moon, we can find you on YouTube. We can find you on Instagram, anywhere else that we need to know to find you.
Etsy.
Yes, I did put the links to his
Okay.
Instagram. I'm sorry, to his Etsy and also to YouTube in the chats. And then Dark Winter Moon, it's very accessible, very easy to find if you put that in for Google search.
Okay, my last question, Ryan. T-shirts. Have you made Sigil T-shirts yet? Because I need to buy
I'm
one of those.
thinking about it.
You
Like,
totally need one because I'm
should.
going to get that
I
money
know.
one. Girl, I'm getting that money one.
Right.
I'm wearing it everywhere.
I have a question. Quick question. Do you make sigils for people if they like ask you for something specific?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's a custom one on I've done several times. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Sorry.
Look,
I really I didn't even know I could do it. I made it was like a 3x4 canvas where I painted one for a friend for over their bed. And it was both their names combined with the sigil for soulmates.
I
Oh, I love it.
So
Love it. This has
cool.
been so fun.
Yeah, we'll go back quickly and show you. So here are some of his sigils that you can find on his Etsy page.
I love them. They're
Make
so
sure you
cool.
go. There's
you.
the magnetic, personalized, handmade drawing painting. Okay.
I need to work on those titles.
Well, you know what? We can help you out. But look, this is actual him doing.
Oh yeah, that's
sigil.
nourishment. I'm making nourishment there.
That's great.
Oh, so cool. Wow.
See?
We
Ooh,
learned so much
Ryan, look at
tonight.
the unicorn.
Perfect.
I might want one that says unicorn.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I learned so much today. It was really, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this time with you. It was really great. I appreciate you so much coming on our show.
Yes.
you.
And opening my mind.
See
Yeah,
that?
I
Open
really
minded
enjoyed myself,
mystics.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, that's fine. I was just saying I really enjoyed myself too. I've had a great time. The time just went by like that.
I know.
Yeah, it really did.
Well, we'll be back next week where actually we'll discuss what we learned tonight. That'll be our follow-up show. And I'm really excited. So thank you again for watching, everyone. Please make sure to go over and subscribe to our YouTube page. Check us out on Facebook and share us with your friends because your friends need to be open-minded as well. We'll see you next week at 8 o'clock.
Thank you.
Bye.
Much.